Mhm.
Hello, everyone. This is the podcast with no name. This is Ari, a real discussion. I am Ebony,
And I'm Paris.
and today we're doing the final video for our, what is it, the Four Agreements book.
Mhm.
We've done many videos. We're going to wrap it up today. And yeah, we're on the fourth agreement.
What are you looking at?
Huh?
I was trying to figure out what you're looking at.
I was trying
Okay.
to grab my book.
Okay. So the fourth and final agreement is to always do your best. And it says it's the last agreement, but it's the one that allows the other three to become deeply ingrained as habits. And before we do that, do you think on an everyday basis that you always do your best?
Well, yes, just because I set my own standards. So I think that this question has a lot to do with what are your standards and what are you measuring against.
Mm.
So, for instance, if your measuring stick is against what society says, then you may not always feel like you're doing your best, even though you have depleted all of your energy throughout the day.
Mhm.
So if your measuring stick is how much effort you put in, if you're feeling um, engaged and productive in whatever it is that you're doing and you actually finish it, whatever your measuring stick is or your standard, you could feel like you're doing a good job or that you're doing your best. So this is a matter of, to me, this question is a matter of setting your own standards and making sure that your standards is something that you can actually like achieve every single day and that will add more positive things than stressing yourself out trying to achieve the standard.
That's interesting. Because the book pretty much says the same thing. It just says like in everyday moods, your best can change every day, even in every hour. Um, but as you do your best, your best will also change over time as well. So it can grow along with you as you continue to make that a habit. So and it says don't worry about the quality of doing your best. Just keep doing your best and no more, no less than your best, you know. So I think exactly what you're saying, if you're setting your standard of what's the best by someone else or something else, then you'll be disappointed a lot. But if you're setting your own standard and especially saying like, hey, your mood can change on a day. You might be tired suddenly. You something at work or home or a person could have like really, really irritated you. So you may not be able to put your absolute perfect foot forward or your best foot forward if you were in a better mood or you had more energy. But at this point, this is my best that I can give. And I think when you consider that, then it's like more achievable. It's something that you can actually do. Because if you're always thinking like, when I'm well rested and well fed and I've been going to the gym and I have, stamina and, cardio, this is what I produce. But I'm not there, so I'm only this, and you might feel really disappointed. But like, no, just do the best you can do right now.
Absolutely. And I think also, again, like it was talking about on page 79, how most of us attach um, our actions to a reward or a result. And so it's a matter of detaching your effort from the result or reward because sometimes you may not always get that reward or your efforts doesn't necessarily reach what you expect, and then you start to feel sad or like you're not achieving. And so for its own sake, doing your best is what is the measuring stick. As long as you can, ask yourself, did I show up? Did I do my best? That should be more than enough.
Mm. So
I
what
have
what
a
was what did you do
feedback.
your best at today?
Oh, hmm.
Pulled that question out, huh?
Well, I think I started earlier today because I am on my secret woman journey, so I'm up at
Mm.
4 a.m.
Mm.
I'm doing my best to go to sleep before like 9 o'clock and get up at 4 a.m. And even after my prayer, I've been getting up for a minute praying and meditating, but afterwards I tend to go back to bed. So I've been showing myself some grace the last 2 weeks and just trying my best not to go to bed. Now, most days I've been doing good, but yesterday, or was that Sunday? I had to go back to bed. And it's okay. Oh, I went back to bed today too.
Oh yeah.
I took a little 45-minute nap. I was like, oh, I have 45 minutes. I'm a nap. So
Mm.
stuff like that, just everyday things. I don't think that the book was talking about like these big tasks or these big dreams or goals that we're trying to accomplish. It could just be your everyday lifestyle. Like, oh, today I want to drink 8 glasses of water. Well, today could have been hectic and you only got to six. So instead of punishing yourself for not drinking the other two, you could be happy that at least you got to six, right? And just you and being happy that you made six doesn't mean that you're satisfied with six. You could be both happy that you achieved six and still want to achieve eight tomorrow, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I will say, like, you talk about waking up at 4. I feel like part of my best today because, I've been trying to wake up early too. And I set my alarm at 5 and I got it and I was like, yeah, 5 o'clock. Up. And I was in the bed, like, okay, I ain't gonna get out of bed, but I could probably like meditate and do some breathing here. And then next thing, my alarm went off at 6:40 to wake the kids up for school. But I was like, yo, that's my best. I actually like up and acknowledge it. I didn't immediately turn it off. Like, nope, go back to bed. I was like up and acknowledging, but I was definitely like, I'm not getting out of bed. But like, yeah, 5 o'clock, it's a start. I was like, yeah, I made some progress. But I didn't get out the bed like I wanted to. I've been wanting to like get out of bed and like do stuff. It ain't happening yet, but it's a work in progress. So that was my best today. That was my best today, so it's cool. My other best was like just telling my kids like, here's your tablet, go leave me alone, like because they were moody and getting on my nerves, and they're like, you know what? I'm not gonna get upset. I'm gonna tell you to leave my space. I'm like, that's cool. It's something you enjoy, and go do it over there. So I'm like, that's the best. That's the best mom I could be at this moment.
I feel you because today it was so pretty in Raleigh. I mean,
Mm,
gorgeous. And I was
here
like,
too.
oh, you should go and work out.
Mhm.
You should go and get a real workout on. And I was like, I want to take my bike out. And then I was like, nah. And I was like, oh, I can go to the gym. It's a smoothie place right next to the gym. So I can go to the gym, get a good workout, get a smoothie in. And I was like,
Mhm. Yeah.
so then I was like, I'm gonna go for a nature walk. And well, I'm gonna go out to nature. I'm gonna go out to the trail. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like alternate. I'm gonna do some interval training. I'm gonna jog for a minute, walk for a minute. And I got out there and I was like, no, oh, it's so pretty out here. I'm just going to practice mindfulness. So I just walked around the trail and practiced mindfulness, and I
Mm.
wasn't disappointed in myself. Did I fast walk it? Yes, I broke out in a little sweat, but I didn't do a really hard workout. But a workout is better than no workout, and so I'm still proud of myself.
Yeah. Oh, I told you, like, I felt like I got to work out because we have a new dog, protecting a puppy, and his nails, he's been like jumping up, wanting to show love and stuff, and his nails are sharp. And so I had a nail file, and I wrestled this dog for so long because he doesn't understand what's going on and he doesn't want to do it, and it sounds weird or whatever. And I broke out a whole sweat. So that's my exercise for today. I did my best in that. I was very patient with him. And I still achieved what I was trying to achieve. And yeah, I'm a say that that was my exercise for today. Um But my better best would be to get up and go the 3 minutes to the gym down the street. But we'll see.
Eventually,
Eventually, yeah. I pay for it. I'll
eventually,
go for sure.
it's
I'll
just
go for
baby
sure.
steps.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um. So about the reward, it says doing something without the reward, and I think that's like a big paradigm shift for most people, right?
Mhm.
Um. And I know for most people, it will. I think it has to be the paradigm shift to switch it to integrity, right? The like layman's version of integrity, which is you do the right thing even when no one's looking. And so if you have a paradigm shift for integrity, not only for other people or work, but for yourself, then I think you may have the incentive more to do things without the reward, just because that's the better or the best thing to do. That's the best way to show up. Um, But I think, like he says, I think it's hard because most of us have been raised as well with a reward system.
Yes, and I hate to cross books. I
Mhm.
hate doing that, but this kind of reminds me of Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Productive People, and he talks a lot about like how we do what's urgent and we don't do what's important.
Mhm.
Right. And so it's a matrix, and it's like a lot of us stay in the unimportant or urgent or not urgent category, but we don't do what's important. And important things are not necessarily urgent now in the short term, but they have so many benefits for the long term. And
Mhm.
so a lot of the things that we should do fit into that important, but not urgent category, like working out, meditating, journaling, health and wellness, budgeting, personal growth and development. And so when you have so many fires in your life constantly throughout the day and you have to put things out, you tend to focus on the result of what it is that you're doing because you have these very real fires that's in your experience. And
Mhm.
so shifting from putting out fires to finding a time to plant seeds is a whole different mindset, and it's a process.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think also most of us want to be rewarded for our hard work or wherever we do. And again, it's probably conditioning as well, what you're saying, because most of us are usually rewarded for whatever we've done well from a very little baby. People clap and cheer and, give us things for, our milestones that we hit. Um, but yeah, it takes, most of us also want to be rewarded. So it's that too of just being like, the reward is being proud of yourself of what you're doing.
Intrinsic value.
Yeah, yeah. And I think for most of us, that again is another paradigm shift of being like, I'm just gonna be proud with myself. I'm not gonna look for accolades or compliments or, acknowledgement. I'm just gonna acknowledge myself and my good doings and let that be it. And it was also saying it's like when you do that and you're doing your best, all the other first three agreements you don't have a problem with. Um, and it'll just slowly take those away from you of not taking things personally, not making assumptions, being careful with your word. So, um, and in that, I think recently I've been trying to do my best with not making assumptions. And I think that's very human because you go, man, so and so did this. No, why did they do that? Like maybe because blah blah blah. And I go, okay, I don't know. you know. And I even had to do that like with my child recently of just being like, you know what? Why don't you just ask instead of like assuming like she's like, oh yeah, like I already know like dad's just gonna say no and this not whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, you have to ask. If you already think he's gonna say no and he says no, so be it. But if he says yes, then it's a great surprise. It's great that things turn out in your way. And I think even with that, like assumptions we make is usually assumption. I don't think we usually make good assumptions of people's behavior, right? I think most of the times we assume the worst.
Well, I mean, human nature probably, but I don't
Do
tend to
you?
do that. That's why I get in a lot of trouble.
Well, I don't know. I think like very recently with one situation, you were definitely assuming the worst, and you got very lucky, and it turned out to be even better than you thought.
Yes. Yes. But I normally don't assume the worst. That's what I mean. Either I don't care, like I don't have an opinion at all, because it's just like it is what it is, or I just always assume that people are going to bring their best self because I bring my best self, and we see the world through our own lens.
Yeah.
So I show up my best self. I assume that's the case for everyone. So I'm always surprised when it's not that. I'm like, oh, so you didn't bring your best self. That's not what we do.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is a digression, but I was talking to my therapist about that recently, and I was saying like, she was like, "Oh well, like what about like these situations?" And I was like, I talk to my sister all the time, and we've discussed it. I live in ignorant bliss, like I live in a world of delusion, and my bubble is very small. Even when I'm out and about, like I was telling her, I was like, right now I have on so many colors, and I'm gonna go to the store like I'm the ish, like just walk around. People are gonna looking like, how did that get put together? But I'm just like, I had to go do this, whatever, and it is what it is. Like maybe pants came up a little bit more, ankle was a little ashy, but I'm still strutting around here, buying my tomatoes and whatever. And so it's like it's like I gotta go out in the world like minding my business and just like doing like my thing. And so because I'm like minding my business and nice to people, I naturally expect other people to do the exact same. Um, but I think like most people, I get like the most issues when it comes to like family and people I'm really close to. So that's where I get the issue of like assuming things like that. So I agree with you. Most of the time, I assume like very well in the world because, again, I live in a world of delusions. Of course, I'm thinking like, yeah, like absolutely. But when it comes to like my own family or like issues between like really close friends, I think there's where I tend to like assume the worst of like what's going on because like I feel like
Track
say
record.
I don't necessarily think track record, but maybe. But like, say with us, right? Very recently, there's been things going on. I've just been busy, and we haven't like talked that much, right? But we usually talk every day, like a couple of times a day. And so before then, like if I call and you don't answer, and I'm first time I'll be like, okay, she's busy. So I send a text and I don't get a text message, and I'm like, is she busy? And then I'll call again and she don't answer, and I'm like, I called twice and she didn't answer. So what is her problem? Like, what is going on here? And I like leave a message like, hey, I called you back. I called you again. And then like something happened. And I'll call again. And I'm like, look, I'm pushing close to the deadline. Like I know she ain't gonna answer at 6, but I called at 5:30. Like, I know you home. I know you ain't do nothing. You're home by 6. And so nothing answered. I'm just like, oh, so we got a problem. So we got a problem. She ain't even gonna talk to me about it. And then the next day you be like, oh hey, yeah, I left my phone at home all day. And then I was out doing whatever. Or like, oh yeah, something happened and my phone didn't work. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. I thought we was beefing. I didn't know I have a reason for it to beef. I didn't come up with no reason why we were beefing. Maybe I was thinking about like I did disagree with her about that topic, but like maybe we really did. That's what I'm saying. Assuming, just think whatever. Like we did disagree about like what was appropriate to say to your
Those are my
grandmother.
favorite
I know,
conversations.
but I'd be like, we don't usually beef about that, but maybe today's the day. Like, and I just be like, what is happening? Like, why ain't talk to her so long? Like, and so I just be like, oh, okay, it's only like then with people I'm really close to. I'm like, and again, assuming the worst, like, and I'll call you like, oh yeah, like my phone was like something's going on or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, like,
I think where I get trapped in the assumption part is with the track record thing, because people can change, people can grow, people can develop. And so like if you've been dealing with somebody long term, let's say that you've been dealing with somebody 10 years, right?
Mhm.
And for 9 months and 9 years and 6 months, they do the same things, they show up the same way, and it's like this is just who this person is. This is how they choose to show up. But
Mhm.
also human beings are growing, we're changing, we're developing. So you may come, today and do something that remind me of your 9 years and 6 months worth, but it's not the same because you're growing and developing. So although it looks similar, it's not the same. And I'm making assumptions, assuming that it's the same based on our track record. And so I think that's the reason why in relationships it's so hard, because the person is growing, but you're still you're still remembering and you're still in the mindset of like, but you've been doing this. And
Mhm.
it's just like a little bit too close to see the change. Or
Yeah.
and so that's what me for me where the assumptions come in only with family. It's like, 30 days ago you was doing that. Now I understand it only takes one day not to do that, and
Yeah.
but you know, and so I work on that in the sense of like, am I bringing even yesterday's habits in today? Am I
Mhm.
reacting and responding to this moment, what is happening now, and taking away all of the extra, baggage that came from the past? Because again, if you believe in redemption, you believe people can change and grow, then you can't bring the baggage from yesterday into today. And I know it's hard to do. It
Mhm.
feels like it's almost impossible to do because you have a memory, you have feelings, your feelings may still be tied up in, avoiding that feeling that you felt that they produced or that you allowed them to produce. And so I think that that's the part of like growing and mastering and developing yourself, is noticing that people can change, grow, and develop.
True, but I also feel like if a person shows up differently than what they were before, then I shouldn't have that trigger, right?
Yes and no. I'm trying to
Or
give
you
you a good
just
example.
immediately triggered by this person. Could that be it?
I'm trying to think of a good example.
I'm thinking, I don't have an example, but I'm thinking of like, say, a person.
Hmm.
And so, say, like, a person is good at backhanded compliments, right?
Hmm.
And so, when you see this person, you're already like hyping yourself up, like, here we go, you
Hmm.
know, it's gonna be something. So kind of like you're already triggered. You think like in your mind like I'm preparing for the worst, but truthfully like you're already triggered by that person, right? So if they say something that is different than what you were, wouldn't you be like, oh? Or is it because you're already triggered by that person when they say something? You'd be like, where's the shady part? And you're looking for the shadiness, or no?
Probably both.
Maybe,
All
maybe.
right, here's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
You could be dealing with a person who normally shuts down when y'all disagree, right? Or y'all having a confrontation, they'll shut down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's their track record. They've been doing it, let's say, 2 years, but they're trying to grow and develop. So this time when y'all have a disagreement and in the moment it's quiet and you'll go, there you go again, shutting down, trying to avoid the conversation. The person go, no, I'm just working through feelings, trying to figure out what I need to stay, trying to stay in the game, right? But if you aren't asking any questions to clear it up, then you automatically assume that the person is doing what they've been doing, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
here you go ignoring me again, and you could just blow up and make it worse when the person was really just trying to organize their thoughts, think about how they wanted to approach it. And so again, it's like you can bring yesterday's habits in today, and it's not giving the person the fair of chance to self-actualize in this moment because they're still being punished from past moments.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I see that. And I think it's like what you said before, it might be a little hard to like distinguish it, like what exactly is going on in the situation to be discerning. Um, yeah, yeah, I guess it have to be on a case by case or asking questions, like you said. Try not to assume. You have to ask the questions of like, are you shutting down? You know, and then they can just say, like, yeah, I need a minute, or no, I'm just trying to think, you know, put my thoughts together and think of what's going on. So you have to ask the question. Like I was thinking, like recently, my husband and I were talking. I said something. He was like, "You trying to be shady?" And I was like, "No, I'm just stating the truth. But if it's shady, but but at least I was like thinking about it later. I was like, oh, I appreciated the moment. Like he asked, he was like, "Are you trying to be shady?" You know, because it was a little kids conversation there. But I was like, nah. I thought about it later. I was like, yeah, I probably was pretty shady about that. Talked to my therapist about that too. I was like, I can be pretty petty, especially if like you're mad and I'm not mad. Then I'm like, okay, well, let's make you madder then, since I have to be in a situation.
I'm only petty if I ask you to leave me alone and you keep going. Then I'm gonna get real petty, and I will enjoy it. Okay, like if
Right.
I say just leave me alone.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that example. So yes, but no,
Leave
to
me
me, I feel
alone.
like, of course, if you're in an altercation, you think you're right and the other person thinks they're right. So of course, I think I'm right in a situation. So I'm like, you're mad, and I'm like, I'm not even mad. Like, chill out. And then you're still so upset. I'm like, but I'm not even wrong. I'm not even like you're the person who's wrong. Why are you so mad? I'm like, you know what? Fine then. You know, since you want to be, you know, strong and wrong, let's see how strong that wrong gets. I'm about to make you angry. And yeah, that's how my stepmom crashed her car that day. So anyway, so,
I'll be honest though. Like, listen, I have integrated my shadow. So I love when I ain't gonna say love as in I'm seeking, but love as if I tried to dodge and you keep coming. Ooh, ooh, ooh,
yeah.
ooh.
So is that doing your best?
I'm doing my best by trying to dodge you, right? And as soon as you keep going, I'm gonna do my best to destroy you. So yes, yes, I'm doing
Right.
my
That's
best.
what I said. They said always do your best. I said I'm gonna be my best petty self. You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna do my best at ruining this day for you. That's a, that's what I'm gonna do.
I tried
And
to play nice.
um, I'm thankful that you know life is working out a little well. That I can go to therapy. I'm not rich, y'all. So if I say something wrong, y'all still can't hold me to that because I ain't got money. I'm still poor. So, but I'm able to afford therapy just a little bit.
That's a flex, first off.
Sometimes that's what I'm saying. I'm not
Therapy
rich,
is a
guys.
flex.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not rich, guys. I'm still poor, still very poor. Sometimes I call and I'm like, because I gotta pay afterwards. I'm like, hey, funds a little tight. I'll see you next week. I need to
So
save up
you,
for it.
oh, sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just joking.
Uh,
But
so you know my lifelong, I believe that you should pick a goal that is going to take your a lifetime or your whole life to complete. And my lifetime goal is to master myself.
mm,
So I really like this paragraph on page 86 where it says, if you do your best always over and over again, you will become a master of transformation. Practice makes the master. By doing your best, you become a master. Everything you learn through repetition. You learn to write, to drive, and even to walk by repetition. You are a master of speaking your language because you practice. Action is what makes the difference. And I
mm,
absolutely love that as a practitioner, as a person who, studies to become a master. That's what what motivates me, what drives me, and inspires me to be my best.
mm,
I just think that that is so interesting. And I believe it's so true because eventually, even if you're an extrinsic person, in the beginning, you may do something for yourself and it doesn't feel as good, like, oh, I ate a salad today. Whoop-de-doo,
Mm.
but like, once you get to day 30 and you go, wow, like I was real salty on salad 1, but now I'm salad 31 and I feel good. And it's like I don't even want, the junk food or the meat or whatever it is that you were eating. Now my body is attuned to, salads, and it likes salads and it benefits from salads. And so it's so interesting when you think about just your actions is what make habits. And all you have to do is change your habit. I mean, change your actions to make another habit.
Mm. Yeah, easier said than done though. I will say that. Cause I like all the time. I'm like I've been setting my alarm clock for 5 o'clock every day. I got that habit. I got the habit of setting my alarm, and so far I got the habit of ignoring that alarm. And so now I'm trying to set the habit of acknowledging it. And today was the first day. Today was day one. I acknowledged it. Proud of myself. I acknowledged it. I was like, oh yeah, alarm. Yeah, okay. All right, let me just meditate in bed. And it just like, dear Lord, thank you.
Step one. That's fine. That's fine. Step one.
Uh-huh. So we're moving and shaking, guys. Look at me progressing. Out
And
here
that's all we
achieving.
have to do is progress. Like,
Uh-huh.
you just have to keep moving, and it doesn't matter the speed. You just have to keep moving. And everything doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect can be what it is and still get better.
I was thinking about something. It was like no such thing as perfect or something like that. But there's like I was thinking about when they're saying like practice makes perfect,
Hmm.
and someone was saying no, perfect practice makes
Absolute.
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolute. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
practice makes better. And better can always be better. So even your best can be better. And so I like that. And recently I saw something that's saying, don't focus on how hard the journey is. Just think about later the stories you get to tell. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, if I kind of like think about that, I'm like, okay. I'm like, it sucked, but I got a story to tell you. I like
I
how I got here, how I did it.
I think you people should focus more on like what you gain from the challenge.
Right. Exactly.
Not just the story, but it's like every challenge or every stressor or every bad news, whatever, has an opportunity, a seed in it that can help stretch, grow, develop you. Because we don't grow and develop when things are good. When things are going good in our lives, when we everything is working out for the best, that's not when we develop. It's when things are hard, when we hit rock bottom, when we need to change, adjust, grow. That's when um uh-oh, I think I have a meeting. That's when we get to see what we're made of. And a lot of people in those times are just praying through, like getting through it.
Mm.
I just can't wait to get through this. Or like you said, kind of like, oh, I can't wait to have a story to tell on the other side. But imagine being in the storm and going, how can I use this storm to grow and better myself? To bring more awareness to the storm means that you can gain more from it as opposed to just trying to get through it, right?
Mhm. Mhm. I mean, I think true. I think it would take a serious like mind shift to get there. To be like in a situation and be like, okay, like this sucks, and you're looking like, what is the lesson here? Like you're searching, like what am I learning? Like what is the lesson? Like how am I growing? Usually that's an afterthought. You kind of get that later. I think it's very hard to like do that in the moment for most people.
That's what make you a master. It's kind of like that Jaden Smith movie where they went up, the Karate Kid, and they went up and it was the snake and it was moving. He was like, oh, look, that guy is mimicking the snake. And he was like, is he though? Or is the snake mimicking him?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
the meme. Yeah.
so
That's funny.
it's just a matter of like that's what makes you a master. The master in the moment is so grounded that they're not affected or shaken by their external consequences, where the rest of us will be like, oh my goodness, I'm about to get beat up. The master's like, oh, is that a punch? Oh, it is. Oh, wow. He tried it.
Right.
So it's like that's the fun part of it, is figuring out how you can slow things down, be in the present moment, and in the midst of the storm, laugh at it, be a little unhinged and just laugh at it. Like, what am I going to learn from this? What they say, they begged you to not go into the storm, and she whispered, I am the storm.
I heard that one. I heard that one. That was cheesy. So, you know,
It wasn't my words, so
it wasn't. It wasn't your words, but it still was cheesy. I was like, ugh.
it's true though. I got a T-shirt that say that.
Yeah, you would have that cheesy T-shirt.
Hmm.
Good for you. I like you. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, but it's all right. All of us got cheesy T-shirts. Mine is from like the Hoover Dam. I'm that type of person. If I go a place, I want a T-shirt.
I don't. No,
I know
thank
you
you.
don't. You're not that person. I'm that. We've traveled across the country together. I am that person. I want a T-shirt and a pin from every place I went, and this and that, and
You
it's gonna
calling
be
me
fine.
corny and you collect pens?
Not
Okay.
pins, like not a pin. Well, like an
I know
enamel
what
pin.
you mean, like the ones that go
Yeah,
with you. It's
like yeah.
still. You think that makes it cooler?
I like
You
it.
cooler now?
I like it. Oh, and you're so cool because once upon a time, every cool place, I brought a shot glass from every international place I went to.
Then I grew up Paris.
Okay, well, I didn't grow up yet. Or I did grow up. I grew up too much to an old lady. I'm like, I want my pen and my T-shirt. I want people to know that I've been here.
That's funny.
I'm an old fogey. We've established that. My therapist,
Oh,
she was like, "You're not that old. Like, how old did you say you are?" And I was like, "Look, this is my math. I know how old I am." But I said, I believe that every child adds 5 years, and I have two of them, so that's 10. And then every year of marriage adds a year, so that's another 10. So if you add 20 years to how old I am, I'm perfectly in line with my thought process and my old fogey behavior.
I don't like that man.
Yeah, because you 10 years older too. You got 10 years off at least. But you 10 years older too.
8.
Oh yeah, you got me a little 8 years older.
Coming to 9. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. No.
okay, I think we could wrap it up. I have one more red one. It's not in that chapter. It's in the next chapter, which is the
Okay.
Toltec Path to Freedom. It
What
says
page is
to
it?
be Toltec is a way of life. It is a way of life where there are no leaders and no followers, where you have your own truth and live your own truth. A Toltec becomes wild, and becomes free again.
Mm.
Ooh, that just made my soul just, it felt so good to me. It was like, oh, my word is free. Like that's all I aspire to is freedom. So that just feels so good. I'm pretty wild in how I show up in my life. Not like wow in the sense of trouble, but wow in the sense of like I'm going to march to the beat of my own drum, regardless of
Mm.
what people say. And it's not conventional. So I just love the Toltec way of life. I love the idea of co-creating. This is, an experience that you're having, that you get to pick and choose what it is that you want and how you show up. And that in itself is just so beautiful and poetic and crazy and creative and loving, and just so many things at once that is exciting, or it should be exciting to think like,
Mm.
oh, the best is yet to come. I'm working on myself, I'm growing and developing, and the best is yet to come. It's so much more that I look forward to.
Hmm. I think like because I'm usually like a day by day person, so I'm just like, oh, like nothing was exciting today, but today was a cool day. Like, chill day. I got to, to do some of this stuff, whatever. Um, and like right now, I'm taking pleasures in the small things of like, yeah, like 9 o'clock, I'm gonna be in bed. Like I'm tired right now, and I'm taking like the other day, like there's this type of cookie that I like, and they almost like never have it, or it's always sold out. And I went to the store and they had it, and I bought every box that they had. And it was like I came home, my husband was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "You like them too, okay?" We haven't had these in so long. Every time we have them, everybody eats them. They're so good. And I finally found them, and I just bought all of them, and I happen to have a couple more dollars. And that was exciting to me. My fat kid side was just so happy and overjoyed. And so since I don't have Beyonce money,
Yeah,
you know, yet, inshallah, because I started my own little business. I never know, I might pop off. You know what I'm
you will.
saying? And maybe I'm gonna take the thing. Even if I go and nobody uh buys anything, I'm like, cool. It was an experience. It was nice. I tried it. And then I make adjustments from there, and I try again. I'm gonna try again. So, um, but yeah, I'm just kind of like what you're saying. I think I need to be more mindful of like what you're saying of like doing my best all the time. And it doesn't mean like go, 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 like full on super mom, super wife, super woman. It just means like, okay, in this moment, I have this much energy. What can I achieve in this time? And then be proud of like achieving that. Now I'm going on with that. So, um, I appreciate you guys for sitting with us for the last agreement from the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. We hope you guys enjoyed. Luckily, these books are found at Five Below, like most often these days. So it's very easy to pick up and read for yourself. It's a very small, thin book. It's a quick
Mm-hmm.
read. Um, you can read it easily, and you can take
Like
your time. And as you see from Ebony,
3
there's
hours.
lots of notes. These are just, I was going over one chapter, and these are just notes from one chapter, not the whole book. So there's that. Um, I hope that next time Ebony will agree to read some filth with me. She doesn't like to read nonfiction. I want her to try to read this horror mystery thriller with me. It's more suspense. It's more suspense. It's a thriller murder mystery. We gotta try to figure it out.
Murder! That's
Yeah.
violent.
Oh my God! It's a book. It's a murder mystery. We gotta figure it out. I want you to read it with me. We can discuss it and see if we can figure out
Murder. You
together.
want me to say that out my mouth? Words or
You
spells. You
just
want
said
me
it
to
3 times.
you want to put that into my brain.
No, not exactly.
Murder, murder. You trying to put some murder in my brain.
No, I'm doing some critical thinking. So, as you can see, like I said, for Ebony's complete filth. So, if I can move on to reading some filth, it'd be nice to discuss that book
Be a
next.
little
But we will,
dirty.
yeah, we will be back next time to talk about another book, which one we're not sure. But we hope that you guys will join us again. This is the podcast with no name, and this is All Right, a Real Discussion. I am Paris.
I am Ebony.
All right, it was good. Until next time, guys.
See ya.
Okay.